Thanks for joining me. I'm Robert Estrin. This is livingpianos.com, your online piano resource with such an important topic, why you must practice your scales and arpeggios in 4 octaves. You know, you play your scales, you think it's the same thing over and over again, and if you could play it in a lower octave, you know, you can play it in the middle. You should be the same thing playing it anywhere. But it really isn't. And the reason for it is watch what happens when you're playing down here or up here. The angle of the hands, they shift. Do you see this angle of my... So you really... You need to gain the fluency going up and down the keyboard. Now, the way to do this is, first of all, make sure you're sitting properly. If you're sitting too close, watch what happens to this angle now. This gets really tough to get this angle when you're sitting too close. And a good key is be back so that you can have your hands straight out. And then it's so much easier to go from one side of the keyboard to the other. You know, so many times I see students and they'll slide on the bench to the left and the right. Well, that's really good, but what happens when you're going from the left to the right? You're going to be sliding back and forth like that? There's so much music that goes back and forth. You need to find a center point on the bench where you're comfortable, sitting at the right height, the right distance, then you have half a chance. Then practice your scales. Start with a comfortable tempo, using the metronome, as always with scales and arpeggios, to measure your work. And go through the full 4 octaves in all major and minor scales and arpeggios. And don't be intimidated by it. It might seem like a lot, but it really isn't. If you just take 1 a week, you'll get them all eventually. What's the rush? You got your whole life to enjoy the piano. And I guarantee, for those of you who have learned all the scales and arpeggios, what it has done for your technique and the ease in which you can play music and read music, having those fundamental techniques under your belt. Leave it here in the comments at livingpianos.com and YouTube. And for those of you who are on the journey expanding, get enlightenment and encouragement and motivation from the people who have done it, because I can tell you it is a game changer for you. So in the piece of music, what are pieces of music but scales and arpeggios, chords? It gives you such a solid foundation and a leg up that you don't have to practice every time you have a scale or arpeggio in a piece of music. You already know them. And so much music is comprised of this. Play them in all the octaves, and you will be rewarded with a fluency and an ease of the piano that will transcend the work you've put into it. You're going to get much more out of it than you could ever believe. Again, I'm Robert Estrin. This is livingpianos.com, your online piano resource. We'll see you next time.